We are headed to the Lone Star State Texas Mood Tracker time. I was on record, you know it if you watch the show. I was on record as saying, even before Quinn Ewers transferred to Texas, Texas and Clemson, those are the two most intriguing programs to me to watch. Those are the two where I think that there are so many different possibilities and they're really extreme in nature. Like these are programs where the talent roster alone makes you respect the possibility, whether it's 1% chance or 10% chance or 50% chance, that they could really do special things. But also, it could implode spectacularly because keep in mind, the expectation levels are higher at these places. So you win 7 games at some places, it's a miracle. You win 7 games at Clemson this year, they're sounding the alarm. Well, at Texas this year, I really wonder what that number is. But we're not here to talk necessarily about wins and losses and projections for this year. We're here to do the mood tracker. The mood tracker is just a temperature of the fan base and what are they saying inside the fan base. Well, I think this is where perception does not match reality. This is one of the reasons we do the mood tracker. If you want to be totally invested in the sport and you want to be on the ground instead of, floating above the surface with the casuals, that means you need to be intimately familiar with this kind of stuff. Helps you in betting down the road too, by the way. But the perception does not match the casual perception out there does not match the reality as I have experienced it talking to Texas folks all day. I was over on Horns 24/7 today. I put the thread on the board, and I'll tell you what the perception of Texas fans is. You know good and well it's true. If you're not a Texas fan out there, the perception of Texas fans is, all right, here we go. They got Quinn Ewers. They're probably already in playoff or bust mentality. Well, that's not the case. To the point where I didn't have a single Texas fan. Talked to dozens of them today. I didn't have a single Texas fan even mention the word playoff. Most of them are thinking, okay, if we get to 8 wins, am I happy? Because they know, yeah, Quinn Ewers is great to have. And there are a lot of pluses that I'm about to talk about. But man, these folks are very, very cautious right now. A lot of them said cautious optimism. I'll tell you what I have the mood tracker set out for Texas football. I call it the penguin shuffle. And what that is when you're out on ice, but you don't really know how thick that ice is, you don't walk, you don't full stride it, you penguin shuffle it. There used to be a brand of rock salt back in the day, and their entire motto, their entire slogan was walk like a penguin. That's how you have to walk when the footing is uncertain. And emotionally, that's how a lot of Texas fans are walking into the season. They're walking at a very, very glacial pace. And you know how rarely I use that word. Now look, there's a lot to like here. So I'm not trying to paint any kind of doom and gloom picture, nor are they. It is year 2, so you know the old adage, you make the most improvement year 1 to year 2. Half the time that's not true, half the time it is. Let's just blindly pretend it is for the sake of Texas football here. They've got plenty good enough talent on this roster to win any game on their schedule. We say that pretty much every year about Texas. That's no different right now. They do have Alabama coming to town week 2. So most any conference game on their schedule, yeah, they've got plenty enough talent to win. Quinn Ewers is a huge deal here. I mean, Quinn Ewers, this time last year, we were up in arms that he had abandoned the Lone Star State to go to Ohio State. Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Quinn Ewers is the quarterback at Texas. It would surprise me greatly if he was not the starter there. Hudson Card's going to give it a good effort. I think Quinn Ewers will end up being the starter. Great recruiting. They landed a very solid class and got a lot better on the lines of scrimmage, at least in their recruiting class this past cycle. More on the line of scrimmage in a second. And listen, you got to mention addition by subtraction. I keep going back to that Bo Davis rant on the team bus, and ever since then, people realizing there's going to be a lot of just addition by mere subtraction after this last season. Well, it's happened. It's happened. They've overturned a huge chunk of this roster. We don't know what it means in a win-loss column scenario this year, but they've gotten better simply by some guys just hitting the exit door. So those are some good things. Those are reasons for fans to be optimistic. Then you enter caution territory. And these are some reasons why they're cautious. Lines of scrimmage, they don't believe are where they need to be yet. No Texas fan in his or her right mind is looking at the lines of scrimmage and saying, yeah, you know what? Bama's coming in here week 2, but, what do they have that we don't on the lines of scrimmage? No one's saying that. No, and Texas fans aren't watching the playoff and saying, yeah, I really watch our guys in burnt orange. I think we compare favorably with these playoff teams. They know they're not there yet. That's why that recruiting class is so important. Because the first step to getting there is to get that talent on campus. It takes a little while longer for that line of scrimmage talent to develop by and large, but at least they're on the right track to getting them in there. Also, yes, you do have Quinn Ewers. The guy hasn't started a game at quarterback, so certainly there's the unproven element at quarterback, but also These are Texas fans. These folks are not new to this game. They got bad memories. They got scars, fresh scars. I'm not talking about the one where, you plop your leg up on the table if you're Matt Hooper saying, hey, this is a thresher shark got me. And then, you're Quint and you're telling stories about the USS Indianapolis from 30 years ago. No, those are old scars. Those are Jaws references, by the way, Jesse. Old scars. No, Texas has got fresh scars. Jesse's never seen Jaws. Got a lot of thoughts coming out of my mouth right now. Jesse, producer Jesse. Just a cinematic faun, if you will. Never seen the movie Jaws. So a lot of these phrases, a lot of these references over his head. Did listen to a Fleetwood Mac shuffle this past week, though, so he is improving like we hope Texas is. But these are fresh wounds. And so these people, even though the perception is Texas fans get suckered into believing every year, they walk up to the ledge, and they're happy to look over it. And look, they know, it'd be fun, but man, these are not people who just Thelma and Louise it over the cliff every single year. That's the perception, but that's not reality. The Texas folks I know, now they got the emergency brake on, or if anything, they're in reverse. They're saying, no, I want nothing to do with that cliff right now. Maybe in time, maybe we'll grasp hands and we'll ride over that thing in time, but not right now. So they have the same approach regarding the culture. Like, these people are not stupid to some of the problems that have been the case behind the scenes there that have famously crippled the program and their ability to grow, and they have the same approach about the culture. I mean, it's no mystery if you head down to Old Gun Barrel, Texas, and you walk in a local convenience store and you ask them, hey, what's held Texas back? It's not going to be too far down the road of that conversation before someone says, our culture's kind of sucked. We haven't gotten it right behind the scenes. We hadn't had the right man in here. We haven't had our Nick Saban walk in the door that grabs everyone up by the shirt and says, this is the way it's going to be. Well, they hope Steve Sarkisian's that guy. I mean, it's not like he's quelled all the concerns around that place. It takes more than one season. Even if Sark was the perfect candidate, it would take more than one season to do that. So they've been burned by bad culture too. So they're cautiously optimistic that Sark is the guy to take care of that. But remember, when you go back to last year, think about how Texas lost games. It's not that they were never in the games. They were in like all of them. And then they blew second half lead after second half lead. And I say that to say, who knows what even a 5% improvement would mean? For Texas, improving 5-7%, that could mean the difference in like 4 games. So Texas right now, penguin shuffle. Moving forward, but very, very carefully.